Hey guys, this is Fernando doing another video for Tomorrow Survivalist. This time I want to talk about a topic brought up in one of my previous videos by one of my viewers. He was asking my opinion regarding a series of targets made by a company called Law Enforcement Targets in their series No More Hesitation. These are targets, shooting targets, showing pictures of very young children, pregnant women, senior citizens, older people holding guns. And there was a huge outrage because of this. Lots of people saying that it was a way of desensitizing police officers so as in terms of killing civilians. And regarding this, I have a little story to share with you folks. About 3 years ago, still living in Buenos Aires, my wife comes back home one day from work and she says, "I've just been mugged." I was just about to go through a door when she stops me and says, "It was very small kids that did it." She says it was 4 or 5 of them. My wife, she's 5'3", and she told me that the tallest one of them didn't even reach her shoulder. He couldn't have been more than 10 years old, she said. And the rest of them, 7, 8, even as young as 5. The shortest one of them was just a very small kid. They had a gun, of course. They asked for her money. She opened her wallet and they grabbed a few bucks, her MP3 player, and they took off. She says that she couldn't even tell if they were boys or girls because they were so young. One of them had a pink jacket, so maybe it was a little girl among the group. But this is something that you have to think about. Will you be able to pull the trigger if the person pointing a gun at you is a very young child, or a pregnant lady, or a senior citizen? I don't think it was exactly a way of desensitizing police officers regarding killing civilians. These are people that you wouldn't be expecting because we have this preconceived notion that when the day comes, if it ever comes, that you ever have to defend your life, it's going to be this huge evil thug coming against you. And this is where I do my job. I look at survival and preparedness from a realistic aspect. That's what I do, that's what I focus on, and most of it is pretty boring compared to all the fantasy going on. And sometimes it's like this, it's much worse than what goes on in the fantasy aspect of survival and preparedness: zombies, raiders, looters, and evil gangbangers. Sometimes it's a 7-year-old with a gun, and can you pull the trigger on it? You know? There's no right or wrong answer because it's completely understandable if you are not capable of doing that. Alright, but if we're going to be looking at this from the realistic aspect, it could happen, it can happen. It may be one day that you are threatened and about to be killed by a little kid that has no measure of good and evil. Maybe it's because of the way he was brought up, God knows what, but that day may come. It may also happen that it's a woman. Women are just as capable of being ruthless as men. There's plenty of women criminals that have executed their victims. I know of a case where a woman during a robbery, police officer already on his knees. It's actually on camera. His hands behind his head, kneeling on the floor. She just walks to him and shoots him in the chest. And that's it. So you have to get rid of these preconceived notions, mostly because of the fantasy stuff in terms of what you're going to be facing. It's not always going to be an ex-convict full of tattoos, very evil looking. Someday maybe it may be one of these non-traditional threats that you have to deal with. And you have to make up your mind. Either way, you have to make up your mind right now before that day comes. Just like you have to make up your mind about being able to pull a trigger on any other person taking a life to defend your own or defend the one of your loved ones. Sorry for the grim topic, just trying to keep it real as always. Folks, have a great day, take care, see you in our next video.